What's going on, everyone? Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets are continuing their drama on where Kyrie Irving is going to land. Is he going to stay with the Brooklyn Nets? Is he going to leave elsewhere? And recently, Kyrie Irving has released a list of 6 teams that supposedly he wants to play for. And amongst those teams are the Los Angeles Clippers. And now it is being reported that the Clippers are putting together a package to go and try to get Kyrie Irving. And that package goes as followed. The Los Angeles Clippers are packaging Marcus Morris, Luke Kennard, Reggie Jackson, and a 2028 first-round pick to the Brooklyn Nets for guard Kyrie Irving per The Atlantic and Stadium. Now, right off the bat, for the Brooklyn Nets, I think that this is a pretty decent return, right? I mean, it is quite a bit for Kyrie Irving, given that the Brooklyn Nets just seem to want to be done and rid of Kyrie. So to get back these assets, guys that can play now, because that's very likely what you're hoping for, right? Kevin Durant continues to stay with the team. He doesn't demand to be traded. You have Ben Simmons, you have Kevin Durant, you have a bunch of the role guys, Joe Harris, Seth Curry, maybe you re-sign Drummond, guys like that, Claxton. You got those pieces along with what you could get from the Clippers, which would be Marcus Morris, who is a versatile wing, got some size, can put up some points. We've seen him average, 18 to 20 in a season before. So he could be a guy that could be your third, fourth, fifth scoring option, a guy that, if you need be, can go and get you some points, put some numbers on the board. So I think that that's a really good pickup. Luke Kennard is a guy who was really good for the Clippers last year and is, again, another shooter that could really be beneficial, especially when you have a team centered around Ben Simmons. It doesn't hurt to have as many shooters around him as possible. Very likely you're going to see a lot of small ball lineups with him anyway, and so to go get other shooters really is beneficial. And then you got Reggie Jackson as like your point guard to kind of supplement the loss of Kyrie Irving. And Reggie Jackson, again, a guy that was fantastic for the Clippers, a guy that could get you, 15 to 20 a night, night in and night out, pair alongside Kevin Durant. I think that this is pretty solid. But beyond that, what I don't really get is why would the Clippers want Kyrie Irving? Now, right off the bat, they have a ton of players, right? They're like 11, 12 deep. They might be the deepest team in the NBA. In my opinion, they are. And on paper, they have the best team front to back, I believe. And this is coming from somebody that is not a Clipper fan, the complete opposite. I am a Laker fan, but I'm a basketball fan first. And if I'm being honest, and as somebody that is a content creator, I have to speak the truth. And the truth is, the Clippers are ridiculously stacked. Putting my bias aside, you look at them. They were phenomenal last year, and you add in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, I mean, you're talking about a contender. But the issue with being so deep is not all those guys are going to play, especially come playoff time. So it would make sense to package, 3 players for one, a guy that can come in, be your starting point guard, and then you still have the depth necessary to construct your team. And you also have a pretty solid core, and you're still one of the best teams in the league. My biggest concern, though, with the Clippers is, do they really want that headache? Do they really think that Kyrie Irving is going to buy in? How you already have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard who can't stay healthy and can't be on the court. Kawhi Leonard is likely going to miss 20 plus games this season. Paul George very likely will. I mean, the biggest hurdle that the Clippers have had, and since they put together this team, is health. Keeping Kawhi and Paul George on the court has been the biggest problem. Now you add in a guy in Kyrie Irving that can't really stay on the court either, whether that's to his own will, he just doesn't want to be there, or he just gets injured, right? So you're just adding another guy. Yeah, on paper, you're talking about a ridiculously stacked team, but can they stay healthy? I mean, that's already your biggest concern, and now you're adding a guy that further helps that argument where you're losing a lot of your depth that could supplement that, because that was kind of like what the Clippers were good at last year, winning by committee. Instead of it being, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, you have those two guys sitting. You got 15 other guys, 13 other guys that can come in and give you and supplement that loss. And yeah, Kyrie, if he's healthy, is phenomenal. But the other big problem too that I have is like none of these 3 are willing passers. I mean, Kyrie is more of a shooting guard than he is an actual point guard. Paul George is probably the most willing passer out of all of them. He's had seasons where he's averaged like 5 or 6 assists, but Kawhi Leonard has never averaged more than like 2.5 assists a game for his career. Like, he's not a passer. He is very much a black hole. And I know Kawhi Leonard has mentioned in the past, hey, if somebody's hot, give it to the hot hand. You don't have to feed it to me. But how long does that last? Especially when you got a guy like Kyrie. One of the beautiful things is the culture, right? The culture of the Clippers has really been established under Ty Lue. And everybody buys in. Everybody sacrifices. Everyone's all these things. Can Ty Lue get Kyrie Irving to buy in? And, many people might say, yeah, of course he can. I mean, he did it with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But there's a big difference. He was, a rookie coach. And he had LeBron James. And LeBron James was the Kyrie whisperer, right? He was the guy that understood Kyrie. That's why everyone thinks the Lakers are the best destination for Kyrie Irving, because you have LeBron James who can kind of get in his head and keep him in line and keep him on track. Kyrie doesn't have anybody like that. He doesn't have anybody that's going to be vocal and telling him, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. Where Kawhi, he hardly speaks. Like if it wasn't for a handful of interviews, you probably never even knew that the guy talked. And Paul George isn't the guy to step up and tell you, you're messing up, you're doing this, you're doing that. So Kyrie needs somebody that's going to do that. We already see that with Kevin Durant, right? Kevin Durant won't go to Kyrie and be like, dude, I need you. Come on, dude, I need you. Like, come on. I thought it was us. I thought we were here. I thought we were trying to win a championship. I can't even count on you. So you're telling me that Kevin Durant, who's his best friend, can't do that. But Kawhi, who doesn't even speak and, has never been a vocal leader at all, let alone, in many people's eyes, a leader, period. And then you have Paul George, who's kind of like the guy that, he was a leader at one point, and look how successful that was. It's just, I don't know. I just see a lot of trouble. I see a lot of struggle. I don't think it makes sense for Kyrie, because I think Kyrie goes there and, you have the two guys that would be best around you in the sense of defensively, right? Because you can score, you could do your thing, you could beat Kyrie Irving, and then you have these other two guys that can score and do all those. I mean, you're the best team in the league, right? Hands down. Kyrie, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, you're the best team in the league. But how natural of a fit is it, for one? And two, why would the Clippers do it? That's my biggest concern. I understand unloading 3 for 1, but why Kyrie? The team as constructed is good enough. Why would you want to mess that up? I can understand maybe moving, 3 guys to go get a mid-tier guy. Hey, we're 12 guys deep. We don't need these many guys. Let's go do a 3 for 1 trade. Go pick up some mid-tier guy that can come in, maybe a center, something along those lines, where, or even a sign and trade with Nurkic from the Portland Trailblazers. Because if you're the Clippers, you don't care about the sign and trade for the hard cap. Your team's pretty much set, right? So you're just trying to unload guys to go get that one guy that could fit in. I just think the Clippers really could use one more center, a quality center. And I think that's it. I mean, they're deep enough. They have the wings. They have the guys. If they're healthy, they are arguably the best team in the West, because nobody else was a world beater in the West. So you have these two guys added to what she established last year as this team that was an underdog turned into star team. It was just wow, where did they come from? Without Kawhi, without Paul George, and then you saw Paul George come in and it was wow, this could be something. Now just imagine what happens if Kawhi comes in. It's just, I don't know why you'd want to mess that up. I don't know why you'd want to run the risk of ruining what could potentially be a championship season for you, chasing a guy you don't really need, that might not even really fit. I don't know. It's a little bit interesting, to say the least. But anyway, as always, is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you love this trade? Do you hate this trade? Do you think it's something do it? Personally, I think it is one of those trades that if you are giving that up for Kyrie Irving, you almost have to do it. You do it and you figure it out. And then if you have to, you trade whoever you need to trade to make it work. I think it's a risk worth taking in that regards. I don't know why the Clippers would want to even venture down the Kyrie Irving road when they have enough assets to go get, like I said, a mid-tier guy. Is that something you'd rather them do? Yeah, go get a mid-tier guy. Go get a guy that, can come in, give you, 20 points a night. Go get a center. Go get something along those lines. I would rather see them package a bunch of stuff and go get a Miles Turner or something like that. Give up a couple draft picks. Maybe give up some of your younger guys things like that. Coffee. Go give them up in a draft pick. Go get Miles Turner to your team, because that, I think, would be a better fit than Kyrie Irving. And now you're really set for the future. I don't know. Again, I pass the question on to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. So let me know down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.